The Rock has been outed for lying not once, twice, 3 times, but multiple times.
The Rock is the fakest celebrity in Hollywood.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson wasn't just a star, he was untouchable, the people's champion, the face of Hollywood grind, charisma, and discipline. But now, that invincible image is collapsing. He's losing millions of fans, his reputation is in free fall, and some say he's been exposed as the biggest fraud in Hollywood.
He says exactly what you want to hear.
Fake first-time stories, steroid whispers, cooked numbers, even stealing the spotlight from the very fans who built his legacy. This isn't one mistake. It's a chain of lies, scandals, and power moves that shattered the myth of The Rock. And by the end of this video, you won't just question his empire. You'll wonder if Dwayne Johnson ever truly was the man he claimed to be.
Can't do this anymore. I have to be myself.
The Rock went from WWE legend to Hollywood's biggest action star.
They said if you really want to make it in Hollywood, gotta lose weight. I shouldn't go to the gym as much, and I need to lose weight, and I need to...
He was the guy who could do no wrong. The smiling underdog turned global superstar, racking up blockbuster after blockbuster, inspiring millions with his grind and charm. His social media was once a goldmine of positivity, motivation, and record-breaking engagement. But in just 5 months, something shocking happened. He lost over 5 million Instagram followers. For a man who had built one of the largest followings on the planet, that kind of drop was unthinkable. This wasn't a slow decline, it was a free fall. Therefore, fans and industry insiders alike started asking, what changed? Was it one scandal, one movie, one misstep? Or was it something deeper, something that had been building under the surface for years? But little did they know, this was only the start of the cracks, and what came next would expose The Rock in ways no one saw coming. In 2016, The Rock shocked fans by blasting Vin Diesel in an Instagram post, calling him cowardly and unprofessional during the filming of Fast and Furious 8. It wasn't just subtle shade, it was a full-on public shot at one of his biggest co-stars. But instead of looking strong, he looked arrogant.
Hey, Dwayne.
Reports soon surfaced that Johnson was demanding special contract terms, no losing in fight scenes, guaranteed screen dominance, and more control over how his character was portrayed. Therefore, the team player image he'd built for years began to crumble. Fans who once saw him as the smiling, hardworking guy now saw ego and power moves hiding behind that charm. Even loyal Fast and Furious fans were split. Some defended him, but many felt betrayed that he was putting his brand above the family-first spirit of the franchise. But the next move he made would look even faker. After the Fast and Furious feud damaged his team player image, The Rock needed to win fans back. So he turned to what always works on social media: relatable, down-to-earth moments. One of his favorites? Fast food cheat meals. But the problem was, even these real moments turned out to be staged. In 2017, he posted a picture claiming it was his very first time at In-N-Out Burger.
This is the very first time that I have ever tried an In-N-Out Burger.
Fans ate it up. Here was Hollywood's biggest action star, finally trying a simple, greasy burger just like everyone else. Years later, in 2022, he uploaded a video once again declaring it was his first time ever trying In-N-Out. Same enthusiasm, same "can you believe this" tone. And then in December 2023, he did it a third time, acting confused about the menu, pretending he didn't know how to order, and bragging about leaving a big tip like it was some historic milestone.
You all remember The Rock said, "Hey, this is my first time in this fast food restaurant."
Therefore, fans started to connect the dots. They pulled the receipts, reposting his old pictures and videos side by side. YouTubers like Penguin Z roasted him in breakdowns that racked up millions of views. The verdict was brutal. He wasn't just sharing a cheat meal, he was recycling fake first-time stories to farm engagement. The memes came fast.
Why lie about it being your first time in a fast food chain? Why would you do that?
This is the third time he's done it. He keeps pretending that he's trying In-N-Out for the first time every couple of years.
For once in his life, simply tell us the truth.
One fan joked, "First time?" Or "First time his PR team forgot to check the script?" Another quipped, "Does he reset his memory every 5 years?" Even after he edited one of his posts to say "first time again," the damage was done. The moment that was supposed to make him more relatable only made him look more manufactured. Therefore, even small lies turned into big cracks in his credibility. If he was willing to fake something as trivial as eating a burger, what else was he faking? The takeaway wasn't just about fast food, it was about trust. The man who built his empire on authenticity suddenly looked like a corporate mascot playing pretend for likes. But this was nothing compared to the doubts about his body.
I don't think he's 100% natural. You don't get big like that into your 50s compared to your 40s and 30s. Like you see some photos of him in his 30s, he's way bigger than me.
For years, The Rock rebuilt his myth around one thing: his body. He flooded Instagram with 4 a.m. gym clips, sweat-drenched selfies, and motivational captions stamped with hashtag hardest worker in the room. But behind the Iron Paradise branding, cracks began to show. He boasted about eating 6,000 to 8,000 calories a day.
I can tell you there is no way The Rock burns off enough calories to average 6,000 to 8,000 calories a day and look like
Mountains of cod, rice, pancakes, and steak. It sounded superhuman. But experts were quick to call it a lie. Trainers pointed out that no one could stay that lean while eating that much. If he actually consumed 8,000 calories daily, he'd be at least 100 pounds heavier. His meals, when broken down, came closer to 3,000 calories. Ordinary for a large athlete, not godlike as he claimed. Therefore, fans began realizing his monster diet wasn't a blueprint for greatness. It was marketing theater. Then came his training clips. He posted videos grimacing and groaning under the weight of squats and presses, selling the image of a man constantly pushing himself to the brink. But coaches dissected the footage and exposed the truth.
The Rock is not natural, okay? The Rock, he's not a patient of mine, so I don't worry about getting sued.
He was lifting numbers that, for a man of his size, were embarrassingly average. Bikini competitors in their 20s could move the same weight with less drama. Therefore, the image of a tireless workhorse collapsed into something worse, a staged performance. The Rock wasn't inspiring people with raw effort. He was acting for the camera, building the illusion that he was the only man alive who could endure this kind of grind. But the biggest shadow over his brand wasn't his diet or his training. It was the steroid question. He admitted to experimenting once at 18, but swore he'd been natural ever since.
he'd been using and abusing performance-enhancing drugs.
We're going to be talking about what steroid cycle I think The Rock uses.
The Rock has officially come off steroids. Now, love him or hate him, this guy is on the top of the charts when it comes to fake naturals.
But experts across the board laughed at that claim. Joe Rogan bluntly said there was no chance he was clean. Fitness coaches insisted you don't get bigger and leaner at 50 than you were in your 30s without pharmaceutical help.
When you go from abusing steroids for perhaps 30 straight years, your body is going to shut down.
Some suggested TRT, others believed he was on everything possible. Therefore, the inspirational message he'd sold for decades, that hard work alone could make you like The Rock, suddenly rang hollow.
Well, let's get you on this medication. It's a multi-month medication, and here we go. There was just voice inside of me, the little voice said, well, what if I could do more, and I want to do more.
Fans who bought his supplements, energy drinks, and training programs felt deceived. Hashtags like #RockOnRoids and #FakeHardWork started trending. What used to be motivation became mockery. The man who branded himself as the symbol of discipline now looked like a walking illusion. But the real test of his brand wasn't in the gym. It came when he gambled his entire reputation on a movie empire. By the early 2020s, The Rock wasn't just chasing stardom. He wanted empire status, and his ultimate power move was Black Adam. He hyped it for years as the film that would change the DC universe forever. Posters, interviews, Comic-Con speeches, everything was about how he would reshape superhero movies. He wasn't just starring in it, he was producing it, controlling every detail, making sure the spotlight was firmly on him. But when the movie finally hit theaters, reality was brutal. The reviews were mixed at best, fans weren't impressed, and the box office numbers crashed hard. With a $260 million budget plus marketing, Black Adam needed over $600 million to break even. Instead, it pulled in around $393 million. Analysts estimated the film lost between $50 to $100 million, turning The Rock's passion project into a financial disaster. Therefore, the box office king crown he'd worn for over a decade suddenly slipped. For the first time, fans and studios saw a Dwayne Johnson project not as unstoppable, but as a liability. But instead of accepting defeat, The Rock doubled down. He leaked inflated figures to the press, claiming the film was actually profitable thanks to streaming and merchandise. He even posted celebratory articles insisting Black Adam made between $52 and $72 million in profit, numbers insiders quickly debunked as delusional. Therefore, his reputation took an even bigger hit. It wasn't just that the movie failed, it was that The Rock couldn't admit it. On social media, fans mocked him with lines like, "He's not cooking movies, he's cooking numbers." And Black Adam didn't change the hierarchy of power, it exposed it. Memes comparing him to a bad accountant went viral. And this was more than just a box office flop. It was a turning point. But his spin wasn't just about movies. It was the clearest sign yet of a pattern. When faced with failure, The Rock would rather rewrite reality than own the truth. By this point, fans weren't just questioning The Rock's image, they were watching how he handled real controversies. But instead of standing firm, he kept flip-flopping, showing no consistency at all. When Joe Rogan came under fire for using racial slurs on his podcast, The Rock jumped in to defend him, calling Rogan his brother and praising him publicly. At first, fans thought it was bold, but when backlash erupted, he panicked and backtracked, deleting his comments and posting an apology saying he didn't know the full story. Therefore, he looked spineless. To some, it wasn't about defending Rogan. It was about The Rock's instinct to say whatever he thought would please the biggest crowd at the time. Then came the Maui wildfires in 2023. Alongside Oprah Winfrey, he launched the People's Fund of Maui, asking everyday people to donate while both of them contributed $5 million each. On the surface, it seemed generous. But the optics were disastrous. Fans pointed out that The Rock, worth hundreds of millions, could have donated far more himself instead of asking struggling families to chip in. Memes flooded social media with captions like, "The math ain't mathing," and "You could make that back in a month." Again, he scrambled, posting another apology video admitting he could have done better and promising to be better next time. Therefore, it became a pattern. The Rock would make a move, backlash would explode, and then he'd retreat with a safe, polished apology. Fans began to see the truth. This wasn't leadership, it was damage control. Every time pressure mounted, he folded. Every stance felt temporary, every apology scripted. But the most damaging part wasn't the controversies themselves. It was the realization that there was no real Dwayne Johnson behind the brand. And when fans looked closer, they saw something worse. He'd already become a walking ad, a product in human form. When the scandals started piling up, The Rock tried to pivot. He doubled down on Instagram, filling his feed with polished photos, gym clips, and cheerful captions. But there was one problem. Almost everything he posted was an ad. From Terramana tequila to Zoe energy drinks to Under Armour sneakers, even his tour buses. Every smile, every gym session, every family-style meal was selling something. Fans noticed. Instead of raw updates from their hero, they got commercials disguised as personal moments. Therefore, followers began to see less of Dwayne Johnson, the man, and more of a brand machine churning out endless product placements. The comment sections turned sour, with fans writing things like, "We get it, you're selling tequila again," or "Is this an ad or a post?" And the numbers proved it. Engagement on his posts dropped, while jokes about him being a walking billboard went viral. The once beloved people's champion was now mocked as Dwayne the Ad Johnson. The guy who used to inspire millions with his underdog story was now just another corporate mouthpiece. But the real backlash wasn't just about the ads themselves, it was about what they revealed. Fans realized The Rock wasn't posting to connect with them anymore. He was posting to cash in on them. The authenticity that once made him magnetic had been traded for sponsorship deals and brand partnerships. Therefore, the image he built over decades of being relatable, genuine, and for the people crumbled under the weight of commercialism. To his critics, every grin looked staged, every workout caption read like a sales pitch. But the backlash hit hardest when he carried this brand-first mindset back into the world where he started, WWE. Finally, The Rock returned to the stage that made him famous, WWE. Fans expected nostalgia, a hero's welcome, maybe even a chance to see him pass the torch to the next generation. But instead, he hijacked WrestleMania 40. Forcing himself into the main event against Roman Reigns and pushing aside Cody Rhodes, the man fans had been rooting for all year. Cody's story wasn't just another match. It was years of build-up, heartbreak, and redemption. He won the Royal Rumble. He earned his shot. And in a single announcement, that emotional journey was erased to make room for The Rock. Therefore, fans revolted. The WrestleMania promo video didn't just get dislike bombed, It became the most disliked WWE promo in history, racking up hundreds of thousands of downvotes within days. But it wasn't just the audience. Even wrestlers who grew up idolizing The Rock started speaking out. Seth Rollins called his actions disrespectful. Insiders revealed his creative team was thrown into chaos, rewriting storylines just to contain the backlash. For many, it wasn't entertainment anymore. It was The Rock using corporate power to steal the spotlight. Therefore, the return that was supposed to remind fans of the people's champion ended up proving the opposite. Instead of fighting for the fans, he fought for himself. Hashtags like #CodyDeservesBetter flooded social media, and the sentiment was clear. The Rock wasn't saving WWE, he was suffocating it. But this wasn't just bad PR, it was the final nail in his legacy. The Rock didn't just lose a storyline, he lost the very thing that made him a legend in the first place. The trust of the people. The Rock built his empire on charisma and relatability. He wasn't just a wrestler or an actor, he was the people's champion, someone fans felt they could trust. But every feud, every staged first time, every cooked number, and every power grab chipped away at that foundation. Therefore, he didn't just lose a few Instagram followers, he lost something far more valuable: credibility. When fans buy into you as a brand, they aren't just supporting your movies, merch, or tequila. They're buying into you. And once they feel betrayed, no PR stunt or flashy apology can win that trust back overnight. The truth is, celebrity brands don't collapse because of one scandal. They unravel through 1,000 little cracks. But in The Rock's case, those cracks turned into fractures. The Vin Diesel feud showed ego, the burger lies showed manipulation, the steroid rumors showed deception, and WrestleMania showed selfishness. Each moment stacked on top of the other until even his most loyal fans had to admit this wasn't their hero anymore. Therefore, The Rock's fall is bigger than one man. It's a warning. In an era where audiences crave authenticity, pretending to be perfect is the quickest way to lose everything. People don't want flawless icons anymore. They want honesty, flaws, and accountability. But the real question is, can he ever climb back? Can Dwayne Johnson step away from the walking billboard and finally show fans the flawed human side of himself? Or is The Rock destined to stay trapped in his own brand, cooking up stories instead of rebuilding trust? The Rock's story is proof. When you try to please everyone, you end up pleasing no one. If he wants a comeback, he'll need to stop hiding behind the brand and start being real. Because right now, The Rock isn't cooking anything except his own downfall. Do you think The Rock can recover his legacy, or is his empire already finished? Comment below. I read every single one. And don't forget, like this video and subscribe for more deep dives on your favorite celebrities. Only here at GossipSlice. You can go now.